up guys, my name is Metal, taking you to a live reaction of me playing Destiny 2's new DLC, Shadowkeep. Shadowkeep was a huge disappointment, and I don't recommend anyone buying it unless you like doing Lost Sectors. As someone who looks for a good story in a video game, the game of Destiny has disappointed time and time again, so much to the point where after 90 days of gameplay on the first Destiny and almost 30 days on Destiny 2 so far, I still have to watch a YouTube video on what is happening in the story. And this is the studio that made Halo? Ha, could have fooled me. But then again, they had the Halo books to base their game off of, so maybe if they had a Destiny book, we would have gotten some real story content for the money we spend on this game. And don't give me that BS about Grimoire cards and Triumphs telling the story, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't play video games to read. At this point, Destiny should have a book, and it would be called How Do We Make a Halo MMO and Not Get Sued for It? Even Halo 5, the worst rated Halo game, portrayed their story better than Destiny is doing now. Okay, seriously, I didn't truly hate Shadowkeep, but to have me spend $35 on barely any story, a few actual story missions, and a copy and paste version of the moon that was already in the first Destiny is ridiculous to me. Alright, before this video continues, I have to warn you that this video will contain spoilers of the Shadowkeep DLC. So if you don't want spoilers, go ahead and skip to the indicated time on the screen for the review of the game without any spoilers. But honestly, you're not missing much if you get these spoilers, and I'll be saving you money if you're like me and only wanted this DLC for the story content. Shadowkeep starts off with Erismorn searching this cave on the moon for who knows what, when she is confronted by a weird red figure. After this cutscene, you go to investigate the disturbance on the moon, underleveled by the way, and guess where you land? On the exact same area that was the Crucible map called First Light from the original Destiny. You move into the next zone, which looks very similar to the bridge section from the Crota raid from Destiny 1. You get a look at the new Hive model, but it's literally the same thing, but it's red instead of gray. Very innovative, Bungie. And don't even get me started on the Shriekers. I could be crazy, but I don't think I've ever seen this many Shriekers in one DLC until now. It's like every section in this DLC, you had to get past a Shrieker boss, and you know how Shriekers are. They're really strong, and they never stop shooting, and since you're super weak at this point in the game, you have to slowly kill them before moving on in the DLC. I was still highly optimistic at this point, despite all the copies I had already seen. Even later in that mission, they show the big ship that contained the new enemies that were teased at the end of Destiny 2's main story. I'm not gonna lie, this got me excited to see what was next, and then he appeared.
There's some sort of massive energy spike here. It's too heavy for us to pass through.
Nightmare of Crota. Crota's back new.
But we killed him.
But I don't have Galahorn, I'm not prepared for this. Crota's back, and for some reason, I was more happy to see him than not. Probably because that raid was one of my favorites from Destiny 1, but believe me when I say, Crota in Destiny 2 was not a good thing. At the end of the mission, Gaul and the Fanatic from Forsaken appeared, but they had different names. Literally nothing else was different about these enemies other than their names. Eris teleports you out of the mission, tells you of the danger, and you plan to go to the moon to stop them. Naturally, after the first mission, Destiny thinks you're stupid and retells you everything about the game that you already know. This is kinda helpful for new players, since Destiny 2 is free to play now, but there has to be a way that experienced players that almost have a month of gameplay into this game should not get these notifications when a new DLC drops. It shows you stuff like opening the inventory, how quests work, everything else like that. But wait, there's something different this time. A season pass? Really? The staple of we don't care about the players, we just want their money. The silver lining here is I didn't see a way to buy season pass tiers like you can in Fortnite and Call of Duty, but the only way you can get the bottom set of tiers is if you buy the DLC. So I would bet that the next 3 seasons will cost the same as Shadowkeep and have less content than Shadowkeep. Now, in case you guys didn't hear, during development of Shadowkeep, Bungie had parted ways with lead publishers Activision, and I'm sure I speak for the whole Destiny community when I say this was a great thing. But with what Shadowkeep gave us, I honestly can't tell the difference. They even pushed back this DLC 1 month to keep working on it, and I'm afraid to think what would have happened if Activision was still around. But anyway, continuing on with the story, we land on the moon and speak to Eris, and guess what our first objective is? Doing a public event. Yay. So you get going, and you notice the moon is exactly the same as Destiny 1. What the fuck, Bungie? I was just trying not to curse, in hopes of being monetized on YouTube if I ever become relevant. But the more I played this expansion, the more angry I got, so fuck it, I guess. I paid $60 for Destiny 1, and now I'm paying another $35 for what? A little extra? But it's really just the same. They didn't even bother to make a new public event. Even when they redid Mars and Mercury, they had new public events for it. And we got to explore new areas of the planet. But with the moon, it's just defend the war set here, or defend the war set over there in the same areas you experienced in the first Destiny. So anyway, after you complete your first task, you talk to Eris again. And yet again, your next task is a public event. So 1 hour in, we got 1 actual mission and 2 public events. You start to see a trend here? Most of these quests that you get at the end of the story are items called essences. They get you to different guns and an armor set required to get you to the final mission. So essentially the whole story is just one big bounty, and that in my opinion is lazy and not worth paying for. We've already done this in Forsaken, and we paid $40 for that. After you're done with those public events, Eric's actually gives you a decent reward. The first piece of the Dreambane armor set, I got mine at 812 when I was only 760 overall. A pretty good jump right off the bat, and it helps since you're underleveled from the beginning. Next objective is looking like you're doing an actual mission. Just kidding. Destiny has introduced these new things called nightmare hunts, and this was the first of many you would do. Except nightmare hunts aren't new. You venture through the same parts of the moon you've been to before, and fight the same bosses you beat in Destiny 1. And first up is Omnigul. They literally took the most annoying boss from Destiny 1 and gave her her own mission, and just like the strike, I hated it. Also, I should mention all boss fights that have nightmare names play out the same. You fight a past boss, weaken them a little, then come out to Yellow Bar, Nightmare Thrall, or Nightmare Acolyte, and a few adds. Rinse and repeat that 3 to 4 times, and you beat the boss. Literally every boss fight goes like this in the DLC. More disappointment, but at least it's not more public events, right? Now, after you beat Omnigul, you go back to Eris, and now she has bounties. I recommend getting as many of these as you can because it's easy XP. Also, by this time, you've earned enough season XP to get this new exotic called the Ariana's Vow, an exotic secondary hand cannon with a scope. This gun is really strong but has high recoil and low ammo. I would call it a pay-to-win gun because you get it as a season pass reward, but you can still get it without the DLC, just 7 ranks later, no big deal. Now, to my surprise, we are now heading to a strike. Usually, they save the strike till the end of the DLC, but this one came early. I took this as a good sign, and the strike was actually good. It took you to a new place, and the boss made sense to the story. You had to kill Crota's sister, Hash Ladoon, which is just a giant wish. Oh, wish? I mean witch, sorry. English is hard and I can't read. I literally have this whole thing written down, and still wrote it wrong. But anyway, back to the video. The strike boss had the same mechanics. All bosses are just bullet sponges at this point, so I won't bother critiquing the boss fight. I was just happy to do something mostly new. Surely this was the turning point where Shadowkeep gets better, right? Nope. While the next objective was an actual mission, something was strange. We had to go into the Hellmouth to retrieve a hive cryptoglyph. So we go in and...
Eris, we have the cryptoglyph. Teleport us out. Eris, are you there?
Sherry and Graham.
Run.
Oh god damn it. This is the fucking Lost to Light mission from Destiny 1. As soon as we had to run away, it clicked. Destiny's copies paste bullshit was added again. Now we get our third cutscene. It's like Destiny is testing my patience. One new thing, then more copy-paste, holding on for dear life to keep me playing this trash DLC, but I was determined to at least finish the story. After the first cutscene, we get 3 new missions. Again, they're doing the same thing as Forsaken here. Sorry guys, I had to change microphones. I broke my other one while making this video, so just bear with me for the rest of this. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, Forsaken again. You gotta do these increasingly difficult missions to get to the big one at the end. But these weren't missions, they were nightmare hunts. Remember what I said earlier about these? First hunt was Taniks. Again. Then Fogoth. Again. In the final mission, you beat Crota. Again. Now I made a joke when Shadowkeep was revealed. Who's gonna be the final boss, Crota or Oryx? And man was I sad when I was actually right. Now back to where I was. So I beat Taniks and Fogoth and went to do the last mission, but I was missing something. You don't get all the armor from these missions leading up to the final one. You get 2 pieces and the rest you get from those essences I mentioned earlier. So it was back to grinding. I had to do Lost Sectors again, and I couldn't even do the ones on the moon, the new ones. The quest specifically said Earth, Titan, Nessus, and Io, so I gotta do the same stuff I've been doing the last 2 years. Fuck. So I do that, got my armor, and beat Crota in the final mission. Now when I finished that, I thought it was just the beginning, especially after the final cutscene. You get pulled back into the triangle ship, guided by a weird voice. You're teleported to what looks like the Black Garden, and in person, the person there looks exactly like you, and all she says is, "We are your salvation," whatever that means. And excited because I think we have more to do, but no, that's it. You talk to Zavala, and then Ikora, and then you get an exotic. No wait, I forgot something. Because this quest is such a waste of time, it wasn't even worth remembering. You have to research Eris's past, and guess how you do that? More lost sectors and public events, but this time, they're on the moon. Honestly, I wish Eris had died in Destiny 1, so I wouldn't have had to waste my time and money on this DLC in Destiny 2. It could have been something different and way better. I honestly stopped playing after this. I got the exotic quest and knew I was in the endgame at that point. I'm so sick of endgame in Destiny 2. Am I the only one here? It's just a bunch of grinding with barely any payoff besides a few exotics, some of which are probably repeats from Destiny 1. I could be completely wrong here, there could be a whole new story coming later after this quest, but I doubt it. I guarantee we'll have to spend another $100 over the next year to complete this arc of the story, or worse, we get another annual pass type deal, and we start on the moon for Destiny 3, or whatever DLC comes out on September of next year. And if that's the case, I'm done with this franchise, I'm done with Destiny. We cannot allow Bungie to keep doing this. We spend so much money just to grind the same missions and stuff over and over, and I'm just done with it. You would have to pay me to buy more Destiny DLC at this point. Please, if you haven't bought Shadowkeep yet, don't. The only thing that will make companies change is a drop in profit and player base declining. Profit is the big one because Destiny has had player drop off before. But then again, they just release a new DLC that is a waste of money and the whole community falls for it again and buys it just to be cheated over. Trust me, it will get better. Just look at Halo. 343 heard people didn't like Halo 5, less people bought it, and to this day they are still fixing the Master Chief Collection and putting out free updates for Halo 5 periodically. I know Halo Infinite will be great when it comes out next year. Much better. But anyway guys, I don't like being negative, and here on the channel, I want to leave on a positive note. I only criticize Destiny because I like this game so much and I wanted to succeed. I've invested so much time and made so many friends on Destiny. I just want this game to do well, and if there's no story, I don't want to keep playing it, and I would hate if that's what had to happen. Also, I don't really I don't look at Reddit at all, and I don't really look into people's opinions on Twitter, so please tell me in the comments, is this what you really want from Destiny 2? They've been doing this ever since Destiny was created, and they have not changed it at all. And I know they listen to their community, but have they really is this really what you want? A lot of grinding, no story? Or do you agree with me here? Because honestly, if the majority likes how it is, and I'm one of the few that don't, I would rather the story stay the same. I wouldn't want it to change if everyone else hates it. Well guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me as a content creator, continue watching so I can shout out my stuff and promote myself a little bit. If you only came for the video contents, have a nice day. You can feel free to click off this video at any point. This video took me a very long time to make. I'm very new at editing, I'm new at this whole YouTube thing, and it's hard to find motivation to stream and post videos sometimes because of the lack of support, so I would really appreciate if you guys could like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. I stream every day and would like to do it, and YouTube, full time. Also, if you enjoy the sarcastic type of content and show a lot of support on this video, I will keep making content like this for you guys, even Destiny videos. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Thanks. Also, one more thing. I know I may sound monotone. I appreciate any constructive criticism you guys could give me in the comments. Again, I'm new to this. If you want to see pure emotion, you want to come to my live streams. It's hard to fake that emotion a week after I've played out and posted these opinions and wrote them all down. At this point, I just try to get out the video, and I try my best to portray those emotions, but sometimes they might just not come out. Again, thank you guys so much for watching and all your support.